Good morning. This is John with 180 Consulting, John Chisholm. I am talking today about kind of a subject that's been brought up quite a bit on LinkedIn of late. Now, as you can tell from my white beard and my bald head, I've got a little bit of experience out there. I'm a 55-year-old male, and I have been in the job market past 50 and attempted to find a job past 50. And I've been reading on some of these posts and some of these suggestions from so-called coaches and so-called resume experts and so-called people trying to help you get a job that you ought to fudge a little bit on your resume, particularly when it comes to your age. And so they'll give suggestions like shorten your resume, make it one page. Now, that's a great idea, but that's not a great idea when it comes to hiding your age and your experience. They'll say, don't write down the date of your graduation from college, or they might suggest that you avoid putting down experiences past, say, 20 years, or saying even like in where I'm at, is saying 35 years experience in X, Y, or Z. So when it comes to this, and this is really, really important, you should never, ever, ever, ever lie on your resume. You should not do it. It's not a wise thing to do. Don't fudge it. Don't ever do that. Don't lie about your education. Don't lie about your experiences or your skills or anything else, because believe me, you will be found out. Instead, rather than that, it's okay to hire a resume writer to enhance the skills that you have or highlight the skills that you have. For example, for us, those of us who are a little bit older in the market, and by the way, I've got more years left and more experience than anybody out there and more energy than anybody out there. Just so you know, I'm not trying to find a job. I got a great job. I love what I do. I love my practice. I also love the recruiting business that I'm in. So I'm not trying to get a job. So don't get me wrong. But you need to highlight those experiences and that kind of energy, and it's hard to do on a piece of paper, and that is for sure. So in writing a resume, highlight the things that you do best, that you bring to the table, that really, really enhance your experience, etc. Now, is it wrong? Is it a lie to say 35 years of experience in XYZ industry? No. But instead of saying 35 years worth of experience, if you want to get in the front door, and this is not a lie, you could say great experience in XYZ industry. So like in the industries I work in, construction, when I'm recruiting, I'm recruiting drywall, metal stud framing, painting, etc. And when I'm doing that, I'm highlighting, when I'm marking that person's abilities, I'm highlighting their abilities. So I'm going to say awesome experience, long tenure. I'm going to focus on that one. Long tenure with last company. I'm going to focus on, I want to say 10 plus years experience, 15 plus years experience specifically in doing this specific task. I'm not going to say 35 years worth of experience or 40 years worth of experience, because unfortunately, for a lot of people, that's gonna kind of turn them off. Is that lying? Is it being deceptive? No, it's not. It's saying that you've got 15 plus years worth of experience. Now, that's then left up to the hiring authority whether or not they're going to want to hire you and look at you at that point. So the next thing is that if you don't have a college degree, don't say you have a college degree. I mean, duh. But highlight the fact that you have experience. Again, going back to construction, and this is universal. But going back to construction, you instead of saying lying about a construction management degree, what you can do is you can highlight the construction management that you've done. In other words, came up through the field as a foreman, apprentice carpenter, went to carpentry school, journeyman carpenter, apprentice carpenter, foreman, led people in the field as a superintendent or as a field superintendent or a field foreman, got brought into the office as a estimator or as a project manager, trained as a project manager. But people love that experience. You don't need a college degree to get a job in a lot of areas. So I'm thinking about construction. I'm thinking about like any specialty contractors. You don't need a college degree. That might be preferred, but if you come in there with lots of experience and you've got if you've built done hundreds of interior fit outs or hundreds of ground up construction, and you've done the framing in there, and again, I'm talking about drywall. You've done the framing in there, you've done the drywall in there, you've done the taping in there, you've supervised this kind of stuff. You supervise a group of people. You've successfully done this. That is an attractive thing on your resume. Actual field experience. So if you have a college degree, great, put it on there. But if you don't have a college degree, don't lie about it. Don't lie about it, because people are looking into it. Now, as far as continuing on, talking about lying on your resume, again, when you're looking and trying to get a specific job, don't lie about the skills that you have either. I've had so many, and this happens to me all the time. It happens to me every day in my recruiting business. Is that I've had people come and tell me that they're a project manager and that they've got skills in construction, but their resume tells me a completely different story. Is it okay to make a resume that's going towards targeting a specific job that you want? Yes. Is it okay to lie about the skills that you have on your resume? No. So I've had people call me up and tell me, look, I've got experience. I'm a project manager. Now, project manager is a generic term. In construction, it specifically means, especially contractors, it specifically means that you have experience in that specialty construction field and that you have the tools that you know how to use in the construction specialty field, specifically software that you would use to do things like change orders, RFIs, to do your own takeoffs and do your own estimates. You would need to have that specific software to do that. So when a project manager calls me up and says, "Oh yeah, my project management is transferable to construction," and they try to reflect that on their resume, no, don't do that. It's a waste of the company's time and it's a waste of your time. If you are a project manager doing an IT project, overseeing an IT project, those skills do not transfer to construction, and vice versa. The construction project management skills do not transfer over to IT project management skills. So don't lie on your resume and say that they do, because they don't. I think I've gotten the point across. On your resume, you want to be concise. You want to be honest. You want to make sure that you have your education on there. You want to make sure you have your skill set on there. You want to make sure you have a log of the places that you've worked. And if you can, for heaven's sakes, please keep it on one page. It's a lot easier to keep it on one page when you're being completely honest. Keep it on one page if you can. If the employer wants to see more, for example, a project list in construction, or a list of drawings if you're an architect, or whatever additional, you can have a one-page introductory resume, and you can have a 25-page CV talking about all your experiences, all your great experiences. But please make sure that you've got your name, address, phone number. I would just say email address, phone number, LinkedIn profile link, okay, as an introduction, your objective, a summary of your skills, highlighting whatever it is in your industry that's important. For example, my industry that I work in, it's important to know about your computers, your software skills, on-screen takeoff, QuickBid, Plexus, I Square Foot, Timberline, Procore, Bluebeam, blah, blah, blah. It's important to know about those. It's important to know that the specific role that you're applying for, project manager, estimator, the skills that you have that you need to give. It's important. It's important to know if you've gone to school, and then finally, it's important to know where you have worked in the past. By the way, putting confidential as far as current job confidential. When you're sending a resume, you are putting yourself out. You are putting yourself out there for sure. So my best advice is that when you send a resume, don't just send it blindly to the person. Let them know that you're sending it. Give them a call, send them an email. Let them know that you're sending your resume in, and say, listen, I currently work. I don't want the company I'm working with to know that I'm looking. So please do not contact my last company, instead of putting confidential on there. That's the only reason that you'd ever put confidential on there. But you want to put the company and a couple bullet points afterwards, the things that you've done that highlight your skills, your talents, and your abilities. Just a couple, 3 bullet points. Believe me, folks, many jobs that are being applied for and resumes that are being sent are the hiring manager is going to just take a look at the top third of your resume to see that you've got the skills, that you've got the right motivation. That's in your objective. That's in your objective section. And to see where you worked at last and what exactly your last title was. That's all they're going to look at. And so if those things are not ready and perfect and quick and concise, they are not going to go any further. Now they're going to go look at the rest of the bullet points if those top 3 things are good, but they're not going to continue looking at it if that top third is garbage. Okay. And again, if they need more information, if they're interested, the resume, that's all it is. It's getting that person interested, saying, yes, I've got a good candidate here that fits what I'm looking for. So what you want to do is you want to take that resume, make sure it's good, but you also want to have that backup resume. You want to have that CV that gives a lot more detail, and you want to be willing and able to back up all those things on that CV with references. So, for example, if you say you've got a college degree, you've got to be willing to give that person, you've got to be willing to give that hiring authority proof that you've got a college degree, diploma, or a reference for one of your professors. If you have a longer CV that can go into greater detail, if you're doing if you want an academic job, or if you want to, if you're looking to be a lawyer, you're looking to join a practice, you're looking, if you're a doctor, etc. These things are longer CVs. They go into much more detail. If you're an architect, you want to show your drawings of the projects that you've done, that you've either done or completed. If you're a project manager or an estimator in a construction firm, you want to talk about the size of projects that you've estimated, the types of projects that you've estimated. That's all separate from your one-page resume. Now, what I started out talking about was fudging on your resume. Don't fudge on your resume. That's the bottom line. I don't want to be talking for too long on it, but don't fudge on your resume. Don't lie. Instead of lying, highlight your skills, your talents, and your abilities, and what you can bring to the table. And if you don't have all the skills, talents, and abilities that the job position is looking for, then make sure that you, at the end of the day, and this is good advice for anybody, at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to say, I don't have that particular skill set, but I'm willing to learn. And in the interview, then you can talk about, we'll talk about interviews later, but in the interview, you can talk about, I'm willing to learn. And this is a situation where I learned something that I didn't have before. So don't lie, but make your resume look good enough and pop and be concise enough that people want to have a conversation with you. Highlight skills, talents, and abilities, real skills, talents, and abilities. That'll take their eyes off of gender. That'll take their eyes off of age. That'll take their eyes off of relative inexperience if you can make that resume pop. This is John Chisholm, 180 Consulting. My website, 180 consulting, or excuse me, 180coach.com. That's the number 1, the word 80 and coach.com. My Gmail address, the word 80 coach@gmail.com. Please reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. I make these videos off of questions that are asked to me, and I would love to make another video for you if you have a question specifically around interviewing, hiring, around growing your business, or around any type of situation having to do with business, and any way I can help you grow. I'm here for you. So check out my website, the word 80coach.com. This is John, and I hope you have a great day.